What's going on, guys? I'm Tommy, and I'm coming at you with an action figure review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Hasbro The Black Series Moff Gideon Dark Trooper armor from The Mandalorian. Seeing Moff Gideon's return as the big bad in Season 3 of The Mandalorian was really cool, and what was even cooler was his badass Dark Trooper Generation 4 armor, which incorporated Beskar armor and that Mandalorian signature design. Moff Gideon had some awesome fight scenes in the finale of Season 3, and I really enjoyed his presence in the show all throughout all 3 seasons. I found this figure at Walmart. If you want to, you could check out my recent vlog on the channel where I found this guy and several other new Black Series figures on a new shipper that's been showing up in Walmart stores in the United States. I'm very happy to have found all the figures from this wave. This figure is a mainline release here in 2025, and he comes in the standard packaging for the Black Series. So up at the top, you have your Black Series logo, you have your big plastic window showing you the figure and all his accessories, you have the character's name and vertical text on the side here, as well as that he is number 44 in the Mandalorian subline. This is easily the subline with the highest number of figures. And then down below the window you have that wraparound banner in that Mandalorian orangish gold kind of color, and then down here you have some of your logos and legalese. On this side of the box you have your mural art, which shows Moff Gideon with helmet on, and you can see a little bit of the ruins of Mandalore in the background there. You have your character's name down at the bottom. On the back of the box you get your Black Series logo, that same mural image we saw on the side of the box blown up a bit, the character's name, and a bio in about 1,000 different languages. This bio reads, Moff Gideon has constructed the next generation of Dark Trooper, made of Beskar harvested from the depths of Mandalore. Unlike previous incarnations, this prototype is a battlesuit Moff Gideon wears. Again, we reiterate he is number 44 in the Mandalorian subline, all your legalese down at the bottom. Please guys, don't feed this action figure to your babies. On this side of the box, we have the Black Series logo at the bottom with some of that wraparound window. On the bottom of the box, even more legalese, and on the top, nothing. That about wraps it up for the packaging. Let's get this guy opened and we'll check him out. Alright guys, here is everything out of the box. Before we check out Moff Gideon himself, let's check out the accessories he comes with, and he actually comes with technically 4 accessories here. Obviously, first we'll start off with his removable helmet here. We do see him in the show a fair amount with the helmet on and helmet off. I love this design. I feel like it kind of marries the signature looks of the Mandalorian design with the T-visor and the little cheek cuts here, as well as the horns, really cool, kind of reminiscent of the Mandalorians. Very nice glossy black plastic. I like how the visor has a little bit of a pearlescent finish to it. Everything looks really good, and the paint apps, as few as there are on here, do look really nice, and we're definitely going to be probably displaying him helmet on the shelf. Now, as far as some other accessories, I'm pretty sure this one has come with previous releases of Moff Gideon here. This is his blaster pistol, a very small blaster pistol. It's got a big giant scope for the sight here, and it's just done in some dark gray plastic. Nothing really to write home to on this one. It just is what it is, you know? It's a tiny little blaster pistol, not much else to say about it. Now, this next one's cool because we get a collapsed and extended version of Moff Gideon's staff. This is a unique accessory that Moff Gideon has in Season 3, as he doesn't have the Darksaber anymore. This one is a little bit of paint bleed from that black onto the top here, but that's okay. I wasn't planning on displaying the collapsed version with the figure anyway, although it is a really nice option to have. I would like to see Hasbro do more of this going forward, especially with lightsabers too. Give me the one with the saber ignited and just the hilt separate accessories. But yeah, just some really nice sculpted detail, and again, not much to say on this one. It's just the collapsed version of the staff. The cooler of the accessories is definitely the staff ignited. You also get a nice little lightning effect here, which you probably could pull off the staff if you wanted to. Again, we have it in that nice kind of dull silver plastic. You get some of those nice glossy black paint applications at the bottom, the middle, and the top here. You can totally see from the design like what parts of this extend from what direction, which I think is really cool. And it's a very nice design. I mean, honestly. Oh, hey, look at that. The lightning effect actually does just pop right off here. It looks like it, yeah, it does open, okay. So you can actually pull off the lightning accessory if you want to. However, it does seem to sit on the staff very nicely too, which is great. I was gonna say, this looks like reuse from like the Magna Guards. It's done in a very light purple. Again, a great accessory, and I'm glad they included it with Moff Gideon. All right, now let's check out the Moff. He is going to be almost entirely brand new head to toe. Does the jetpack remove? That was the first thing I was looking at. No. So this guy is in a very glossy black color. It's very nice, very reminiscent of the Black Series Dark Trooper figure. The first thing I want to say is I know that Hasbro was kind of gassing it up on their fan stream, but I have to agree with them. The likeness on Moff Gideon looks great. This is immediately identifiable as Giancarlo Esposito. He is very, very good. I really like the wash they gave to his hair too. I mean, they even kind of gave him his fade that he's got on the sides and back of his hair, which that amount of detail is really, really nice. And again, just the likeness, you know, I guess it's subjective to how people feel about them, but to me, this likeness looks exactly like Moff Gideon. It looks exactly like the one, the only Giancarlo Esposito. Pretty awesome. I'm very happy with how the head looks, and it makes me kind of sad, actually, that I'm going to be covering it up with that awesome, awesome helmet. Again, the glossy black on the armor all looks really, really nice. It looks like the chest is an overlay, and the shoulders are a very, very rubbery material, but they're also done on an O-ring system. So it's a nice overlay, really makes you feel like there's someone underneath that armor, and I think it looks really nice. Not a whole lot of paint applications, but it's accurate to his design in the show. There's not a whole lot you need here. We have a soft goods cape here, which is a lot like the Grand Inquisitor's cape, and then the Dracula Grand Inquisitor's cape that we saw. It's red on the inside, black on the outside. In the lighting for my review, you can kind of see through the cape ever so slightly, which, okay, on camera it shows up too, but I'm really happy that that red isn't very obvious, you know, and on this side you can't really tell there's black on the other side, and on this side you can't really tell there's red on the other side, so thankfully that's not very obvious. That would have made me pretty sad, honestly. So taking a look at the jetpack here, it looks like the jetpack, again, just some very subtle hits of some silver and some red here and there. They'll pop up when they hit the light. I mean, it's a cool looking jetpack, and obviously I wasn't planning on removing it from him, so I'm not terribly upset that you can't remove it, but you know, it is what it is. Down here it looks like the belt, which has some really nice bright red on the top and bottom. This is an overlay as well, I want to say. Yeah, this is an overlay that's just glued to the figure. If you lift up the cape, those paint applications on the belt do transfer over to the back, which is awesome. And then you do have a holster for his blaster pistol, so you do have weapon storage. There is a little strap with a little clip there that does let you clip the blaster into place when it's there. I don't see any storage for the staff, which is not a huge deal, because, I mean, most people are probably going to be having the extended version on their shelf. And then the legs, again, just a really cool mixture between the Dark Trooper armor from Season 2 and the Mandalorian look. He's got the, you know, knee armor with the knee rockets on each piece there, and just everything looks really cool. I mean, it's like Moff Gideon mixed with Darth Vader mixed with the Dark Trooper. I mean, what more could you want? He's Moff Gideon but cooler, basically. I also got to give a shout out to the team at Hasbro, because they gave him a trigger finger hand in both hands. Got to give props there, because that's something that I'd much rather have a trigger finger in both hands than just a C grip. You know, at least it's a little bit expressive. And it looks like, you know, before I get into articulation, it looks like he's got ball jointed wrists, which have really, really nice range. These are probably some of the best ranged ball jointed wrists I've seen in the entire line. So I guess with that, let's get right into articulation here. So Moff Gideon being a brand new figure here, head to toe, he is going to have a lot of your newer Black Series articulation. So he has I'm going to call it a barbell jointed neck. You have a ball joint at the top and a ball joint at the bottom. So you're going to get all kinds of range out of that. So Moff Gideon can look down, which is good. He can also look up, which is great considering he has a jetpack. You're going to get some tilt out of that head, as well as some right and some left. And then it looks like he's got butterfly joints, which are hidden underneath the overlay eye of that chest there. Those have decent range, not the best I've seen. They kind of get caught up on the wide jetpack here, but you can still get good range out of them forward. I don't know too many people, unless it's like a superhero figure, that really make a lot of use out of those butterfly joints, you know, pulling backwards. A lot of people, you know, you want your characters to hold their weapon in two hands, so you're going to have them both pulled forward. As far as the shoulders go, you also have a hinge and swivel, and look how much range you can get out of those shoulders. That is some of the best shoulder hinge range I've seen in the Black Series in a long time. That's very, very nice, well past 90 degrees. And as far as swiveling the shoulders, you can obviously get a full 360 degrees out of those. If you want to get that full range, I'd recommend trying to keep that shoulder armor with the rest of the arm, just because it's going to stress the plastic if you're trying to do it without, you know, moving the shoulder armor with it. As far as the arms go, we have some single jointed elbows, which do get you past the 90-degree mark. Great range there. There's also a swivel at the top of the elbow there. And then again, those ball jointed wrists, and again, just that range of motion is amazing on those. Definitely the best ball jointed wrists in the Black Series. And then at the midsection, whoa. Okay, hang on. So it looks like we actually have two ball joints at the midsection. So we have a ball joint here underneath the armor here, the carapace, and then we have another one at the hips. So like, look at that range you can get, especially back. That's insane for a Black Series figure. That's a lot of range. Holy cow. That's really surprising. I'm actually really impressed with this dude's articulation so far. Moving on to the hips, this is probably going to be the disappointing part here. So the hips have a ball joint, however, they removed the thigh swivel on this guy. So unfortunately, this is the updated hip joints with the Black Series. It's supposed to do the same thing as a thigh swivel, however, you can see you can't really get much range out of that, unfortunately. He does have deep cut single jointed knees, which gets you to the 90-degree mark. Gotta give a little bit of a knock on the fact that the knee armor is glued to the bottom of the thigh instead of the top of the shin. That's annoying because the kind of negates the point of having knee armor, but whatever, neither here nor there. You have a swivel at the top of the knee as well, and then at the ankles, you've got your forward-facing pin for rocker, your forward, which is great. The forward is usually lacking on these figures, and then your back, which is great as well. Overall, I mean, aside from the thighs, this guy has amazing articulation, and I'm actually really excited to pose him up. So why don't we do just that? We'll get his accessories in hand, and we'll get him posed up. All right, so obviously we want to get the helmet on first, so we'll do just that. Now, I know that a lot of us were a little bit apprehensive to this figure. We thought he was going to be a chinner, as the community has dubbed it, where the chin sticks out of the bottom of the helmet. However, Moff Gideon's not really a chinner. You can just see his neck poking out from the bottom of the helmet. It's not a huge deal, and actually when I have him posed, the shadow that's cast from the helmet kind of hides that flesh tone of that neck a little bit. It's an action figure at the end of the day. There's only so much Hasbro can do, you know, while trying to make it accurate to the show, whereas, you know, the actor wearing this costume is, you know, all of a sudden magically he's got a sock that goes over his head and covers everything except his face. But for what it is, I think it's good, and I'm just glad his chin's not poking out of that helmet, because I thought for sure the chin would be poking out. And look at how menacing he looks with that helmet on. I really, really like the silhouette that this figure gives off here. So obviously you can get it wedged into the hand nicely. The trigger finger does fit nicely into the trigger guard, and as you can see, you can get some very nice poses with this guy. I think I really like this figure, and I'm surprised by how cool this figure actually is. I'm really impressed with Moff Gideon here, man. Like, this figure's cool. Obviously, we're gonna have our weapon storage again here, so I'm just showing that off here in effect. You can get that blaster pistol in the holster here, and it does pass the shake test. I guess the helmet does not, but the blaster pistol does pass the shake test there. All right, checking out the staff here. The staff you can get in hand as well. And that's just again, a basic pose with staff in hand. I think looks great. And honestly, this helmet, as I'm messing around with him, the helmet keeps moving, so I would honestly recommend with this figure, just take the helmet off, put the helmet on when you're done posing the figure, because it's just pretty loose on the head there. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, because once you have him in the pose, he's in the pose, but, you know, just be aware of that. Yeah, and look at this, just again, the silhouette that this guy gives off is just too damn cool. I really am enjoying this figure. Yeah, this guy's great. Look at this nice low stance I'm getting him into, and with that soft goods cape, you can kind of drape it so that it moves with him and gets a little more dynamic with the posing there. Safe to say, I'm really, really enjoying this figure. And again, he's a sleeper hit. Here's a nice little overhead swing here, like he's about to crash down on Mando or Bo-Katan or maybe even Grogu. Looks great. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for Moff Gideon for now. I gotta stop myself from posing this guy, and you know what? I'm gonna say this is a sleeper hit from this wave. I wasn't expecting the amount of articulation with the double joints at the midsection and then also the range on those ball jointed wrists. I mean, this guy is a really, really fun figure to play around with, and I'm really, really enjoying him. Definitely worth a pickup. But with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. If you're an ARC Trooper in my Patreon, you would have seen this review early. If you'd like access to early content, monthly giveaways, and more awesome benefits, make sure to check out the link to my Patreon in the description below. If you like the YouTube stuff, you're a fan of the reviews, you want to support just the YouTube channel, you can also check out my channel membership, Rancor Battalion. You get access to all the reviews early here on YouTube, and you also get access to voting on what I review next for the channel. And finally, guys, check out the merch with the Blitz Transmissions Armory, which is through Printify, linked in the description below, as well as my Discord and my social media. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.
Breaking off all units, fire at will. 1-2, pick a target. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. You've got to hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm hit.